Alright, hi guys, I'm back. I'm in a different room and I got really good reception here yesterday when I just did my short little video. So hopefully this works, and if it doesn't, I'm sorry, I will come back and I'll answer comments. And yeah, hopefully this doesn't happen again. I don't know, I guess it's my internet and maybe Facebook is overloaded. I'm not sure how that works. But thank you so much for joining me if you're able to hop back on. As I was saying in the previous video, we are going to talk about what you should order when you're eating out at a Mexican restaurant. So I was doing this for a client, a customized version of this, and I thought it would be really cool to give some general guidelines on things to order and things to look for if you are at a Mexican restaurant. And if you don't love Mexican food, I think you can still get a lot out of these tips. There'll be some general things and how to read a menu and how to approach it so that you can get the best experience at any restaurant really. But we'll see if this works well and if you like it, and maybe we can do more videos like this or this similar type of format, okay? So thanks so much for watching. If you're watching the replay, definitely leave a comment and I will come back and answer your question. Sorry, I just moved the tripod, so that was the shaky. All right, it looks like our video is strong. Thank goodness. Come on, Facebook. Okay. So, I'll introduce myself one more time. I'm Julie from Calm Belly Kitchen and I run this Facebook group and community, and we are talking about eating out on a low FODMAP diet. So it's going to be different if you are in the elimination phase or if you are sort of post reintroduction, okay? So I'm going to kind of touch on how you would approach this depending on where you're at, because it does make a difference and you have some more flexibility if you have a little more knowledge about what your tolerance levels are. So Mexican food, guys, and I looked at some actual restaurant menus and oops, I just got a Facebook message. All right. I looked at some real restaurant menus and some of the ones that I actually go to in my neighborhood to kind of get real examples and see, you know, what typical stuff you're going to find. And I'm not talking like Chipotle or you know, places like that that are more like chains and fast food type things where a lot of the dishes are sort of pre-done, like a lot of the components are pre-formulated, or it's done the same way all the time. I'm sure there's a better way to describe that. So I'm not talking about those type of places because sometimes they're good because you can get, you know, a regulated list of ingredients. The employee can show you the paperwork because everything they do is the same. And that can be helpful, but they often don't have the freedom to modify anything for you. So I'm talking about more like independent restaurants where they do cook a lot of the food to order, where, you know, they can actually make some changes for you and how you can ask for that. So that's sort of what the kind of restaurants I'm looking at, even though Mexican food is often, you know, like the Chipotle style. But if you're going to, and actually if you do want to go out, I would look for those kind of independent restaurants, you know, not necessarily high end, but the ones where things are cooked fresh and it's more, you know, traditional recipes and fresh, simple ingredients, that sort of thing, because you can often get a really good experience that way too. Okay, so things to look for. Corn tortillas, all right? That's the basic one, and I'm sure most of you know that. A corn tortilla is not only gluten-free, but it's low FODMAP. You can eat 2 of the smaller tortillas as a serving, so anything they put on a flour tortilla, they can put on a corn tortilla, virtually, okay? I mean, virtually anything. Now, let's say something really simple, a quesadilla, okay? Just a cheese quesadilla, or even with some chicken or other meat in it. That's a great one, and they always put them on flour tortillas, and they might look at you kind of funny if you ask for a corn tortilla because maybe no one's ever asked for that before. Although, at the same time, so many people avoid gluten that maybe people ask for that all the time. I'm not really sure. But you could get a tasty quesadilla on a corn tortilla and even add some meat to it or have some grilled meat or fish on the side, and that's a nice meal. Some other basics. Okay, guacamole. We all love it, but it's definitely gonna have garlic and onion in it. So what you could just do is ask for sliced avocado in place of guacamole. If it's a place that makes everything fresh, which a lot of places do, they're gonna have avocados back there and they can slice you some avocados. Now, I know that a low FODMAP serving is 1/8 of an avocado, but if you actually measure that out by weight, which the Monash app does give you weights, and I love having a food scale, guys. I do recommend it. They're really affordable. But if you actually measure out the serving on the Monash app. I think it's 21 grams. That's not a bad little amount of avocado. It's enough to really enjoy it and get the flavor, and you know, I put that much in my omelets all the time or on a sandwich. It's great. So do that. Pico de Gallo, or any kind of hot sauce salsa, is definitely gonna have onion and garlic in it. So what you can do is just ask for sliced or diced fresh tomatoes. They've got those back there. They're making the pico. They can give you some tomato wedges, and that can be a garnish for pretty much anything. What else? Probably straight cilantro too. And I would say tell people that you're allergic to onion and garlic, and hearing that word allergic often just kind of takes care of it. You don't have to explain further than that, and see what they can, you know, how they can work with you to make sure that you're not getting that onion and garlic. All right, what else? I've got notes. That is what I'm looking at right here. So I'm sort of starting with the basics, and this is if you are on full-on elimination, you're trying to really avoid FODMAPs as much as possible. So another thing you can do is nachos. So corn chips should be totally fine, especially at a restaurant where they don't add, you know, like any special flavorings. You know, like you see at the grocery store, sometimes there's flavored chips or whatever. So straight up corn chips, obviously you probably will avoid the salsa, but you can eat the chips. You can eat nachos with cheese and just simple grilled chicken or beef or shrimp, whatever works, and you could top it with just that sliced avocado and tomatoes, and that would be really good. When it comes to Mexican rice, that may be made with onion, and you could ask. I mean, it's not, or it might be made with sort of a spice paste like adobo, which would contain onion and garlic. So that might be a small amount. It might be, you know, an okay compromise there, but they also might have plain rice, especially if they do a kids menu. They might have a lot more plain stuff that you could just kind of borrow from that. So it would be worth asking about the rice. And of course, beans, you're gonna want to avoid those pretty much all the time, unless after you've tested, unless beans are totally good with you. Okay, so if you're just joining me, we're talking about what you would order at a Mexican restaurant, and I'm gonna try to do more of these videos on how you can eat out and still actually have an enjoyable experience and eat either in the elimination phase or when you're just kind of post-FODMAP, post-reintroduction, and you're still sort of, you know, balancing it for yourself and for your own needs. Okay, so we are going over some basics. If you're in elimination, you can eat most cheeses. So if it's queso fresco, I've looked at, you know, the nutrition facts on that. I think I just heard thunder. I think that's what that was if you heard it. Queso fresco has no sugar, which means no lactose. Lactose is a sugar. That's the FODMAP that you're trying to avoid. So that's one you see a lot. If it's just cheddar or Monterey Jack cheese, that should be absolutely fine for low FODMAP. Those cheeses are very low lactose. Or if they use something really authentic like añejo, which is delicious, that I believe that actually means aged. So aged cheese is very good. So you're good on cheese. And even like a chili con queso or a queso dip, you can ask, and they may, if they can tell you if it has onion in it, but it probably doesn't. It might be okay. You might ask how it's made, and if it's very highly processed, or if they make it kind of themselves, that might be something that you could actually eat, because most cheeses are low lactose. Okay, what else have we got? All right, okay. Another good one would be ask for a taco salad. If it's not on the menu, I bet they are used to people who want to eat low carb or gluten-free, and they want a salad. So you can do, instead of like a fajita dinner with the flour tortillas, obviously, or you could do fajitas on corn tortillas. That's a great one. But do a salad. Lettuce, tomato, sliced avocado, whatever they've got back there, maybe bell peppers. They could put together something really nice for you with tortilla chips, and you've got your little taco salad with lime juice. Probably they can give you some olive oil or something like that. So that's a good option, especially if you're trying to eat on the healthier side. Some more specialty things that can work would be, what have we got? I don't know if you guys are hearing, but I live on a really busy street. I've got an ice cream truck. I think I've got like someone doing like the garbage dumping out there, so there's these crashes, and then there's thunder. So this is a fun video. All right, So something like flautas, all right? So what those are, and I think they're the same as taquitos from what I can see, but that's the little fried corn tortilla with just kind of chicken or beef, something like a shredded meat or pork inside. So a lot of us are really worried about eating too much fat, and you know, that's totally fair, but in my experience and working with clients, you have to eat a lot of really rich fatty food before you get a big reaction. So if you go and you have like 2 of those small flauta taquito things, you're gonna be fine unless you're very sensitive to it. As long as you keep the overall volume of your food, a little bit of fried food wouldn't be terrible. And so the same could be for fish tacos. So if they have a fried fish taco, yes, it's gonna be breaded with flour unless you're somewhere where they do have gluten-free items. It's gonna have some kind of flour breading, but let's keep in mind that you can eat a certain amount of white flour. If you look at the Monash app, a slice of white bread, a 30-gram slice, is low FODMAP. So a little flour breading on your fish taco fish is not gonna kill you, theoretically. So that's an option too, and a lot of Mexican restaurants will have seafood, so look for that, and they might even have grilled fish tacos. Let's get into the subject of marinades, and I know that's going to be kind of the sticking point for a lot of things if you're eating out at a Mexican restaurant. So yes, a lot of those meats, especially like the slow-cooked, shredded, you know, pork carnitas, and what else do we have, like barbacoa or cochinita pibil, those are all going to be cooked with a lot of aromatics, with onion and garlic. However, let's see. It does depend. I'm looking at my notes. I'm sorry. I'm not an expert on Mexican food. Carnitas. All right, so here's the deal. All these meats are sort of very similar, but they're different preparations, and I guess the best bet would be carnitas because those are cooked in more fat, all right? So how you make those is you're gonna have onions and garlic and other aromatics in the pan, and kind of like you do like a confit if you're a real foodie, you put a layer of fat in there and you cook it, and then afterwards you shred the meat and you kind of brown it or fry it up a little bit so it gets a little crispy on the edges. So not as much of that onion and garlic is going to, oh, my connection is weak again. Not as much of the onion and garlic is going to seep out into the meat. Thanks guys for joining me again, I really appreciate it. I know the connection is not great, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up more quickly today. All right, so for those like slow cooked meats, if that's what you're really craving, the carnitas would probably be the best bet. But if they have a smoked meat, like a lot of places will do a smoked brisket taco or whatever it is, that's gonna be a good one. When you do a smoked meat like that, it isn't often marinated in a liquid. It might have spices on it, but it won't be cooked in a liquid with all those onion and other aromatics for a long time. So smoked meat would be a better choice. Now, if you're doing just like grilled chicken or fajita meat or shrimp fajita, those things might be marinated too, so I would ask. But here's the thing, if you're in a restaurant where they do cook that stuff to order, and I worked in a chain restaurant in college, it was actually a ground round, if there are any New Englanders here. So we served a lot of fajitas, and every single one was cooked to order. The meat, whether it was chicken, steak, or shrimp. And yeah, I think the steak and the chicken were pre-seasoned, but the cook could easily walk into the fridge and grab a piece of flank steak that had not been marinated. So you can ask, just say, can I get a piece of chicken or flank steak that's not marinated, just salt and pepper, nothing else. And they should be able to do that for you. That's a really easy one. All right, so I'm not gonna go over the entire like history of Mexican cooking because I realize I could talk about this for a while, but if you liked this style of video without all the weird, you know, interruptions from connections and Facebook and stuff, do let me know, and we'll see if we can, if I can do a video that's not live where I could just have better video quality, and maybe we'll do that for the blog or something. So let me know if you like this style or what cuisine you'd rather have me talk about next, like Italian restaurants, Asian restaurant, Thai food. This is kind of fun, so we'll see if this is something I want to do again. All right, do I have any other things to finish off with? Tamales, if you've got like a pepper and cheese tamale. Tamale is made with cornmeal. That's a really good one. What else? What else? What else? Okay, I think I covered it. I feel like this was such a crazy video. Hi Tennille, Italian food. Okay, thank you for the suggestion. That's a good one. I want to do that one. All right, thanks everyone for joining me, and thank you if you are watching the replay. Leave your questions in the comments, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.